The Battle Ahead. Soothsayers' Predictions for World War III. Copyright 2024 NLP Radio Inc. Chapter 1. Introduction to World War III Predictions. The role of soothsayers in predicting world events. The role of soothsayers in predicting world events, particularly when it comes to major conflicts such as World War III, is a topic that has intrigued many throughout history. Soothsayers, also known as oracles or prophets, are believed to have the ability to see into the future and predict the outcomes of significant events. In the context of World War III, their predictions hold a particular significance as they can potentially provide insights into the causes of the war, its impact on the world, and the countries involved. Throughout history, soothsayers have played a crucial role in predicting major world events, including wars. Their forecasts are often based on a combination of intuition, astrology, and divination techniques. In the case of World War III, famous soothsayers have made predictions about the causes of the war, which range from political tensions and economic instability to environmental disasters and technological advancements. By compiling these predictions in one book, readers can gain a deeper understanding of the potential triggers for the next global conflict. The impact of World War III on the world is another key aspect that soothsayers have sought to predict. Their forecasts often include predictions about the devastation and loss of life that would result from such a conflict, as well as the long-term consequences for global politics, economics, and society. By exploring these predictions in depth, readers can better understand the potential implications of a future world war and prepare themselves for the challenges that lie ahead. In addition to predicting the causes and impact of World War III, soothsayers have also made predictions about the countries that would be involved in the conflict and the reasons behind their participation. These predictions often highlight geopolitical rivalries, historical grievances, and power struggles as key factors driving countries to war. By examining these predictions, readers can gain a clearer picture of the complex dynamics that could lead to a global conflict and the motivations behind each country's actions. Overall, the role of soothsayers in predicting world events, particularly World War III, is a fascinating and important topic that offers valuable insights into the potential causes, impact, and participants of a future global conflict. By compiling the predictions of famous soothsayers in one book, readers can gain a deeper understanding of the complex forces at play in the world today and better prepare themselves for the challenges that may lie ahead. Overview of famous soothsayers and their predictions. In this subchapter, we will delve into the fascinating world of famous soothsayers and their predictions regarding World War III. These individuals, known for their abilities to foresee future events, have made some intriguing prophecies about the causes, impact, and countries involved in this impending global conflict. Through their unique insights, we hope to gain a better understanding of the potential outcomes of such a devastating war. One of the most renowned soothsayers in history is Nostradamus, a 16th-century French seer who is said to have accurately predicted numerous world events. In his quatrains, Nostradamus foretold a great war that would involve powerful nations and result in widespread destruction. Many believe that his predictions point towards World War III and the catastrophic consequences it will bring to the world. Another famous soothsayer, Baba Vanga, also known as the Nostradamus of the Balkans, made chilling predictions about the rise of ISIS and the outbreak of World War III. According to Vanga, the war will begin in the Middle East and quickly escalate into a global conflict involving major world powers. Her prophecies have gained widespread attention and continue to fuel speculation about the future of international relations. In more recent times, psychic Sylvia Browne garnered attention for her prediction of a major global conflict in the early 21st century. Browne warned of a devastating war that would involve the United States, Russia, and China, leading to widespread chaos and destruction. Her insights have sparked debate among experts and the general public about the likelihood of such a catastrophic event coming to pass. As we explore the predictions of these famous soothsayers, it becomes clear that World War III is not a far-fetched concept, but a real possibility that could have grave consequences for the world. By examining their prophecies, we can gain valuable insights into the potential causes of this war, its impact on society, and the key players involved in this global conflict. It is essential to heed these warnings and work towards preventing such a devastating future from becoming a reality. Causes of World War III. The causes of World War III are a complex web of political, economic, and social factors that have been brewing for decades. One of the main causes of this catastrophic event is the rise of nationalism and populism in many countries around the world. Leaders who espouse these ideologies often prioritize their own interests over those of the global community, leading to increased tensions and conflicts between nations. Another major cause of World War III is the competition for scarce resources, such as oil, water, and food. As the world's population continues to grow, the demand for these resources will only increase, leading to potential conflicts and wars between nations vying for control of these essential commodities. Additionally, the proliferation of nuclear weapons and other advanced military technologies has raised the stakes of any potential conflict, making the prospect of a global war more dangerous than ever before. The threat of mutually assured destruction has kept major powers in check for decades, but as tensions rise and alliances shift, the risk of a catastrophic war breaking out becomes more real. Climate change is also a major factor in the causes of World War III. As temperatures rise and natural disasters become more frequent and severe, competition for habitable land and resources will only intensify, leading to potential conflicts between nations struggling to adapt to the changing climate. Overall, the causes of World War III are multifaceted and interconnected, with no single factor able to fully explain the potential for global conflict. It is essential for world leaders to work together to address these issues and prevent a catastrophic war from breaking out, as the consequences would be devastating for the entire world. Chapter 2. The Causes of World War III. Political Tensions. In the subchapter, Political Tensions of the book, The Battle Ahead, Soothsayers' Predictions for World War III, we delve into the intricate web of political conflicts that have been brewing for years, leading to the inevitable outbreak of a global war. Soothsayers from around the world have foreseen the rise of political tensions between various countries, fueled by power struggles, territorial disputes, and ideological differences. One of the main causes of these political tensions predicted by soothsayers is the competition for resources, particularly in regions rich in oil, gas, and other valuable commodities. As countries vie for control over these resources, conflicts are bound to arise, leading to a domino effect that could spark a full-blown world war. Additionally, the rise of nationalist and populist movements in many countries has also contributed to the growing political tensions, as leaders exploit these sentiments to further their own agendas. The impact of these political tensions on the world is predicted to be catastrophic, with soothsayers warning of widespread destruction, loss of life, and economic collapse on a global scale. The consequences of World War III are expected to be far-reaching, affecting not only the countries directly involved in the conflict, but also the entire world as alliances shift, borders are redrawn, and new power dynamics emerge. Among the countries predicted to be at the center of these political tensions are the United States, Russia, China, and various European nations. Each of these countries is expected to play a key role in the unfolding drama of World War III, with their actions and decisions shaping the course of the conflict. The reasons for their involvement vary, from long-standing rivalries and historical grievances to more recent disputes over trade, technology, and military dominance. As the world teeters on the brink of another global conflict, it is crucial for leaders and citizens alike to heed the warnings of soothsayers and work towards finding peaceful solutions to the political tensions that threaten to engulf us all. Only through dialogue, diplomacy, In cooperation, can we hope to avert the horrors of World War III and build a more stable and harmonious world for future generations? Economic factors. Economic factors play a significant role in the predictions made by famous soothsayers about World War III. Many experts believe that economic tensions between countries will be a driving force behind the outbreak of the war. As nations compete for scarce resources and struggle to maintain economic dominance, the potential for conflict increases. Soothsayers have warned that economic inequality and disparities in wealth will exacerbate existing tensions and create fertile ground for conflict to arise. One of the key economic factors that soothsayers have identified as a potential trigger for World War III is the competition for control of strategic resources. As the world's population continues to grow, the demand for resources such as oil, water, and rare earth minerals will only increase. Soothsayers predict that countries will go to great lengths to secure access to these resources, leading to increased competition and potential conflict. The struggle for control over these vital resources could ignite a global conflict with far-reaching consequences. Another economic factor that soothsayers have highlighted is the impact of global trade and economic interdependence. In an increasingly interconnected world, disruptions to the global economy can have widespread repercussions. Soothsayers warn that economic instability and trade disputes could escalate into full-blown conflicts between nations. The interconnected nature of the global economy means that a crisis in one region can quickly spread and impact countries around the world, potentially leading to a domino effect of conflict. Soothsayers have also pointed to the role of economic sanctions and trade wars in exacerbating tensions between countries. As nations impose tariffs and restrictions on trade, the potential for retaliatory measures and escalating conflicts increases. Economic sanctions can cripple economies and push countries to the brink, increasing the likelihood of conflict. Soothsayers predict that economic disputes and trade wars will play a significant role in shaping the landscape of World War III. In conclusion, economic factors are a crucial aspect of the predictions made by famous soothsayers about World War III. From competition for strategic resources to global trade disputes and economic interdependence, these factors will shape the course of future conflicts. It is essential for policymakers and world leaders to address these economic challenges and work towards solutions that promote peace and stability on a global scale.
Territorial disputas.
In the subchapter Territorial Disputes, the focus is on the contentious issues that have led to tensions between various countries, ultimately contributing to the outbreak of World War III. Soothsayers have long predicted that territorial disputes would be a major catalyst for this global conflict, as nations vie for control over valuable land and resources. One of the primary territorial disputes that have been highlighted by soothsayers is the ongoing conflict in the South China Sea. Several countries, including China, Vietnam, and the Philippines, have competing claims over this strategic waterway, leading to increased military presence and potential for armed conflict. The soothsayers warn that this region could be a flashpoint for World War III if diplomatic efforts fail to resolve the disputes. Another hotbed of territorial disputes is the Kashmir region, which has been a point of contention between India and Pakistan for decades. Soothsayers have predicted that the long-standing animosity between these nuclear-armed neighbors could escalate into a full-blown war, drawing in other countries and causing widespread devastation. The unresolved border issues in Kashmir serve as a constant source of tension and instability in the region. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict is another territorial dispute that has the potential to spark World War III, according to soothsayers. The ongoing struggle for control over the disputed territories of Gaza and the West Bank has led to numerous clashes and acts of violence. The predictions suggest that if a resolution is not reached, this conflict could escalate into a broader conflict involving other countries in the Middle East and beyond. Overall, the soothsayers' predictions about territorial disputes paint a grim picture of the potential triggers for World War III. As countries continue to vie for control over disputed territories and resources, the risk of armed conflict looms large. It is imperative for world leaders to prioritize diplomacy and peaceful resolution of these disputes to prevent the catastrophic consequences of a global war. Ideological conflicts. The subchapter on ideological conflicts delves into one of the key factors that have been predicted to spark World War III, according to various famous soothsayers. Ideological conflicts among nations have been a recurring theme throughout history, leading to tensions and ultimately wars. In this chapter, we explore how these ideological differences may play a significant role in shaping the future global conflict. Soothsayers have long warned about the dangers of ideological conflicts escalating into a full-blown world war. The clash of opposing ideologies, whether it be political, religious, or economic, has the potential to divide nations and drive them to conflict. From predictions of rising nationalism and extremism to the resurgence of old rivalries, the soothsayers paint a grim picture of a world torn apart by ideological differences. One of the main ideological conflicts predicted to ignite World War III is the clash between democracy and authoritarianism. As some nations embrace democratic values and principles, others are moving towards more autocratic forms of government. This divide has the potential to create a rift between nations, leading to tensions and potentially armed conflict. The soothsayers have warned that the struggle between democracy and authoritarianism may be one of the defining factors of the next world war. Another ideological conflict that has been highlighted by the soothsayers is the clash between religious beliefs. In a world where religious extremism is on the rise, the potential for conflict based on religious differences is a real concern. The predictions point to a future where religious ideologies play a significant role in shaping global conflicts, leading to devastating consequences for humanity. Overall, the subchapter on ideological conflicts sheds light on the predictions of famous soothsayers regarding the role of ideological differences in shaping the future world war. By exploring the various ideological conflicts that may lead to global conflict, readers gain insight into the complex web of factors that could ultimately determine the course of history. As we look ahead to the battle that lies ahead, understanding the role of ideological conflicts is crucial in preparing for the challenges that may lay ahead. Chapter 3. The Impact of World War III on the World. Global Economy. In the subchapter on Global Economy, in the Battle Ahead, Soothsayers' predictions for World War III, experts delve into the intricate web of economic factors that could potentially trigger the next world conflict. As renowned soothsayers have predicted, the global economy will play a pivotal role in shaping the course of World War III. The interconnectedness of nations through trade and commerce has made the economy a powerful tool in international relations, with economic sanctions and trade wars being potential catalysts for conflict. The predictions of famous soothsayers highlight the fragility of the global economy and the potential for it to collapse under the weight of geopolitical tensions. As countries vie for dominance in key industries and markets, competition for resources and economic power intensifies, leading to increased volatility and uncertainty. The soothsayers warn that this economic rivalry could ultimately spiral into a full-blown global conflict, with devastating consequences for the world. The impact of World War III on the global economy would be catastrophic, with widespread disruption to supply chains, financial markets, and trade routes. The soothsayers paint a grim picture of a world plunged into economic turmoil, with soaring inflation, unemployment, and poverty levels. The interconnected nature of the global economy means that no country would be immune to the fallout from a world war, underscoring the urgency of finding peaceful resolutions to international disputes. Among the countries identified by soothsayers as key players in World War III, economic motivations often take center stage. Resource-rich nations are seen as prime targets for aggression, as countries seek to secure vital commodities such as oil, minerals, and water. Economic alliances and rivalries further complicate the geopolitical landscape, with trade blocs and economic superpowers jockeying for dominance in a high-stakes game of power and influence. In conclusion, the subchapter on global economy ends the battle ahead. Soothsayers' predictions for World War III serves as a stark reminder of the pivotal role that economic factors play in shaping the course of international conflicts. As the world teeters on the brink of another global war, the predictions of famous soothsayers serve as a sobering warning of the catastrophic consequences that await if economic rivalries are allowed to escalate unchecked. Only through cooperation, diplomacy, and a commitment to shared prosperity can the world hope to avert the looming specter of World War III and build a more peaceful and prosperous future for all. Social unrest. In the subchapter titled Social Unrest in the book, The Battle Ahead, Soothsayers' Predictions for World War III, we delve into the societal implications of the impending global conflict. Many famous soothsayers have foreseen a rise in social unrest as a leading cause of World War III. The tensions between different social classes, ethnic groups, and political ideologies are predicted to reach a boiling point, leading to widespread chaos and violence on a global scale. The soothsayers warn that the increasing divide between the rich and the poor will be a major catalyst for social unrest. Economic inequalities and disparities in wealth distribution will fuel resentment and anger among marginalized communities, leading to widespread protests and uprisings. The resulting civil unrest will further exacerbate existing conflicts between nations, creating a volatile and explosive environment ripe for the outbreak of a world war. Moreover, the soothsayers predict that the rise of extremist ideologies and nationalist movements will exacerbate social tensions and contribute to the escalation of conflicts between countries. The resurgence of ethno-nationalism and xenophobia will lead to discrimination and persecution of minority groups, fueling hatred and intolerance among different populations. This toxic mix of social unrest and extremist ideologies will serve as a powder keg waiting to explode, triggering a catastrophic global conflict. The impact of social unrest on World War III will be devastating, as entire societies are torn apart by violence and chaos. The soothsayers foresee widespread destruction and loss of life, as cities are reduced to rubble and millions are displaced from their homes. The social fabric of communities will be torn apart, leaving a trail of suffering and despair in its wake. In conclusion, the predictions of famous soothsayers paint a grim picture of the role of social unrest in precipitating World War III. The deep-rooted societal divisions and inequalities that have been festering for years will finally come to a head, unleashing a wave of violence and destruction that will engulf the world in flames. It is imperative that we heed these warnings and work towards addressing the root causes of social unrest before it is too late to prevent the cataclysmic events that lie ahead. Environmental consequences. In this subchapter, we delve into the environmental consequences of World War III as predicted by famous soothsayers. The impact of a global conflict on the environment cannot be understated, as it has the potential to devastate ecosystems, pollute water sources, and release harmful toxins into the atmosphere. The predictions suggest that the war will lead to widespread deforestation, extinction of species, and contamination of air, soil, and water. One of the major causes of concern is the use of nuclear weapons, which could result in catastrophic consequences for the environment. Soothsayers warn of widespread radiation poisoning, destruction of habitats, and long-term health effects on both humans and wildlife. The aftermath of a nuclear war could lead to a global environmental crisis that would take decades, if not centuries, to recover from. In addition to nuclear fallout, the predictions also highlight the potential for chemical and biological warfare to further degrade the environment. The use of these weapons could lead to contamination of soil and water sources, rendering them unfit for human consumption and disrupting ecosystems. The soothsayers warn that the consequences of such actions could have far-reaching implications for the planet as a whole. Furthermore, the predictions suggest that World War III will exacerbate existing environmental issues such as climate change, deforestation, and pollution. The war will divert resources away from environmental conservation efforts, leading to further degradation of natural ecosystems and exacerbating the effects of global warming. Soothsayers warn that if left unchecked, these environmental consequences could have dire implications for the future of our planet. In conclusion, the environmental consequences of World War III are predicted to be severe and long-lasting. Soothsayers warn that the war will have a devastating impact on the environment, leading to widespread destruction of habitats, pollution of air and water sources, and exacerbation of existing environmental issues. It is imperative that we heed these warnings and take action to prevent such a catastrophic event from occurring. Geopolitical shifts. In this subchapter, we delve into the geopolitical shifts that have been predicted by famous soothsayers in relation to World War III. Many of these predictions point to significant changes in the global balance of power, with traditional superpowers losing their dominance and new players emerging on the world stage. Countries that were once considered allies may find themselves on opposite sides of the conflict, leading to unprecedented alliances and enmities. One common theme among the predictions is the role of technology in shaping the geopolitical landscape of the future war. Cyber warfare and artificial intelligence are expected to play a crucial role in determining the outcome of the conflict, with countries investing heavily in these areas to gain a strategic advantage. The soothsayers warn that those who fail to adapt to the changing technological landscape will be left behind, facing dire consequences in the war. Furthermore, the predictions suggest that the causes of World War III will be rooted in long-standing geopolitical tensions and territorial disputes. As old grievances resurface and new conflicts arise, the world is expected to be plunged into a state of chaos and uncertainty. The impact of the war on the global economy is predicted to be severe, with widespread disruptions to trade and commerce leading to widespread suffering and hardship for millions of people around the world. Moreover, the predictions also point to the possibility of nuclear war, with countries possessing nuclear weapons using them as a last resort in the conflict. The soothsayers warn that the use of nuclear weapons will have catastrophic consequences, leading to untold destruction and loss of life on a scale never seen before. The fear of mutually assured destruction may prevent some countries from using their nuclear arsenal, but the risk of escalation remains a constant threat. In conclusion, the geopolitical shifts predicted by famous soothsayers paint a grim picture of the future world order in the event of World War III. As countries jockey for power and influence, the stakes are higher than ever, with the potential for unimaginable destruction and suffering looming on the horizon. It is imperative that world leaders heed these warnings and work towards peaceful resolutions to avoid the catastrophic consequences of a global conflict. Chapter 4. Countries involved in World War III and their motivations. United States. In the predictions of famous soothsayers regarding World War III, the United States is often a central figure. Many foresee the United States playing a key role in the conflict, either as a leading force or as a target of aggression. Some believe that the United States will be drawn into the war due to its alliances and military presence around the world, while others predict that it will be the instigator of the conflict due to its aggressive foreign policy. The causes of World War III involving the United States are varied, with some soothsayers pointing to economic disputes, territorial conflicts, or ideological differences as potential triggers. Many predict that tensions between the United States and other major powers, such as Russia and China, will escalate, leading to a full-scale conflict that could have catastrophic consequences for the world. The impact of World War III involving the United States would be profound, with soothsayers warning of widespread destruction, loss of life, and economic collapse. Some predict that the war will result in the use of nuclear weapons, leading to a global catastrophe that could take years or even decades to recover from. The United States, as a major military power, would likely suffer significant casualties and damage to its infrastructure in such a conflict. Between which countries will World War III involving the United States be fought? Soothsayers have differing opinions on this matter, with some predicting a global conflict involving multiple countries, and others foreseeing a more limited regional war. The United States is likely to be involved in conflicts with major powers such as Russia, China, and possibly North Korea, as well as other countries with which it has strained relations. The reasons for these conflicts could range from territorial disputes to ideological differences to economic competition, all of which could lead to a devastating war with far-reaching consequences. Overall, the predictions of famous soothsayers regarding World War III involving the United States paint a bleak picture of the future. The potential causes, impact, and participants in such a conflict are varied, but all point to the need for caution, diplomacy, and a commitment to peace in order to prevent a global catastrophe. By compiling these predictions in one book, readers can gain a deeper understanding of the potential dangers that lie ahead and the steps that must be taken to avoid them. Russia. Russia has long been a key player in global geopolitics, and many soothsayers have predicted that it will play a central role in World War III. Some believe that Russia's aggressive expansionist policies and military interventions in countries like Ukraine and Syria will ultimately lead to a major conflict with other world powers. The tension between Russia and the West has been escalating in recent years, with accusations of election interference, cyber attacks, and military posturing on both sides. One prominent prediction about Russia's role in World War III comes from the famous soothsayer Nostradamus, who wrote cryptic verses that some believe foretell a catastrophic conflict involving Russia. His prophecies have been interpreted in various ways, but many believe that they point to a major war involving Russia and other global powers. Whether or not these predictions will come true remains to be seen, but the current state of international relations certainly suggests that the possibility of a major conflict involving Russia is not out of the question. The impact of a war involving Russia would be devastating for the world. Not only would it result in massive loss of life and destruction, but it would also have far-reaching economic, political, and social consequences. The world has already seen the effects of conflicts involving Russia, such as the ongoing crisis in Ukraine and the conflict in Syria. A full-scale war involving Russia would likely draw in other countries and lead to a global conflict with unpredictable outcomes. One of the key reasons why Russia is often seen as a potential instigator of World War III is its desire to assert its dominance on the world stage. Russia has a long history of seeking to expand its influence and power, and its current leadership under President Vladimir Putin has shown a willingness to use military force to achieve its goals. This aggressive stance has put Russia at odds with other world powers, particularly the United States and its NATO allies, leading to increased tensions and the potential for conflict. In conclusion, the predictions of soothsayers regarding Russia's role in World War III are certainly concerning. The current state of international relations suggests that the possibility of a major conflict involving Russia is very real, and the impact of such a war would be catastrophic for the world. It is crucial for world leaders to work towards de-escalating tensions and finding diplomatic solutions to conflicts involving Russia in order to prevent a global catastrophe. China. China has long been seen as a major player in the world of geopolitics, and many soothsayers have predicted that it will play a key role in World War III. The country's rapid rise as an economic powerhouse, coupled with its increasing military capabilities, has put it in a position to challenge the existing world order. Some soothsayers believe that China's aggressive expansionist policies in the South China Sea and its growing influence in global affairs will ultimately lead to conflict with other major powers. One of the main causes of World War III, according to some soothsayers, will be the struggle for dominance between the United States and China. As the world's two largest economies and military powers, these two countries are on a collision course that could have catastrophic consequences for the entire world. The soothsayers predict that disputes over trade, technology, and territorial claims will escalate into a full-blown military conflict, with China and the U.S. at the center of the storm. The impact of a conflict between China and the U.S. would be felt around the world, as both countries have extensive global interests and alliances. The soothsayers warn that World War III could lead to widespread destruction and loss of life, as well as economic collapse and political upheaval. The use of advanced military technologies, such as cyber warfare and nuclear weapons, could further escalate the conflict and make it even more devastating. China's relationships with other countries, such as Russia and North Korea, could also play a significant role in World War III. Some soothsayers predict that China will form alliances with these countries to counter the influence of the U.S. and its allies. This could further complicate the geopolitical landscape and increase the likelihood of a global conflict involving multiple countries and regions. In conclusion, China is predicted to be a major player in the events leading up to World War III, with its growing power and influence posing a significant threat to the existing world order. The conflict between China and the U.S., as well as China's alliances with other countries, could have far-reaching consequences for the entire world. The soothsayers warn that the time to prevent this catastrophic conflict is running out, and that urgent action must be taken to avoid the horrors of another world war. Iran. The country of Iran has been a focal point in the predictions of famous soothsayers regarding World War III. Many believe that Iran's ongoing conflict with the United States and other Western nations will eventually lead to a full-scale war that could have devastating consequences for the entire world. Soothsayers have foreseen a clash of ideologies and interest between Iran and its adversaries, particularly in the realm of nuclear weapons development. One of the key causes of potential conflict between Iran and other countries is the issue of nuclear proliferation. Iran's insistence on developing nuclear capabilities has raised concerns among world leaders, who fear that the country may use these weapons for aggressive purposes. Soothsayers have predicted that this contentious issue will eventually come to a head, leading to a global conflict that could have far-reaching implications for the world at large. The impact of a potential war involving Iran would be significant, not only for the countries directly involved, but for the entire world. Soothsayers have warned of widespread destruction and loss of life if such a conflict were to occur, with consequences that could reverberate for generations to come. The destabilization of the Middle East region, in particular, is a major concern among those who study the predictions of famous soothsayers. The predictions of famous soothsayers also point to the involvement of other countries in a potential conflict with Iran. Many believe that the United States, Russia, and other global powers will be drawn into the fray, either in support of Iran or in opposition to its actions. This web of alliances and rivalries could further complicate an already volatile situation, leading to a protracted and devastating war that could reshape the geopolitical landscape of the world. In conclusion, the predictions of famous soothsayers paint a grim picture of the potential for conflict involving Iran in World War III. The causes of this war are complex and multifaceted, with nuclear proliferation and regional instability playing key roles in the escalating danger. The impact of such a conflict would be catastrophic, with far-reaching consequences for the entire world. It is clear that the situation in Iran is one to watch closely in the coming years, as the predictions of soothsayers suggest that the country may play a major role in shaping the future of global conflict. European Union. The European Union plays a crucial role in the predictions of famous soothsayers regarding World War III. Many soothsayers believe that tensions within the European Union will escalate to the point of sparking a global conflict. The EU, a political and economic union of 27 European countries, has faced numerous challenges in recent years, including Brexit, the rise of nationalist movements, and economic disparities among member states. Soothsayers warn that these internal divisions could eventually lead to a full-scale war within Europe and beyond. One of the key causes of World War III, according to soothsayers, will be the breakdown of relationships between European countries. The EU was created in part to promote peace and stability in the region after two devastating world wars. However, rising nationalism and the resurgence of old rivalries threaten to undo decades of progress. Soothsayers predict that countries like Germany, France, and Italy will be at the center of the conflict, with other European nations taking sides and potentially being drawn into the fray. The impact of World War III on the European Union would be catastrophic. Soothsayers foresee widespread destruction, economic collapse, and massive loss of life throughout the continent. The EU, already weakened by internal divisions, would struggle to maintain cohesion in the face of such turmoil. Borders would be redrawn, governments overthrown, and millions of refugees displaced. The once powerful alliance of European nations could be torn apart by the ravages of war. Despite the dire predictions, some soothsayers believe that the European Union has the potential to prevent World War III. By addressing the root causes of internal strife, promoting dialogue and cooperation among member states, and standing together in the face of external threats, the EU could help avert disaster. However, time is running out, and the window for peaceful resolution is narrowing. The fate of Europe, and indeed the world, hangs in the balance as the battle ahead looms ever closer. In conclusion, the European Union is a key player in the predictions of famous soothsayers regarding World War III. The internal divisions within the EU, the breakdown of relationships between European countries, and the potential for catastrophic consequences all point to a looming conflict that could engulf the continent and beyond. Whether the EU can rise to the challenge and prevent disaster remains to be seen. The battle ahead is fraught with uncertainty, but one thing is clear: the future of Europe and the world hangs in the balance. Middle Eastern countries. The Middle Eastern region has long been a hotbed of political tensions and conflicts, making it a key player in discussions about the potential outbreak of World War III. Many famous soothsayers have predicted that this region will be a major battleground in the event of a global conflict. Countries such as Iran, Israel, Saudi Arabia, and Syria are often cited as potential flashpoints for conflict due to their long-standing rivalries and competing interests. One of the key predictions made by soothsayers regarding the causes of World War III is the escalating tensions between Sunni and Shia Muslims in the Middle East. The rivalry between Saudi Arabia and Iran, which represent the two main sects of Islam, has the potential to spark a wider conflict that could draw in other countries in the region. Additionally, the ongoing Israeli-Palestinian conflict is seen as a powder keg that could explode at any moment and drag other countries into the fray. The impact of a potential World War III in the Middle East would be devastating not only for the region but for the entire world. The Middle East is home to some of the world's largest oil reserves, and a conflict in the region could disrupt global oil supplies and send shockwaves through the global economy. Furthermore, the region is already plagued by humanitarian crises, and a major conflict could exacerbate these problems and lead to even greater suffering for millions of people. Soothsayers have also predicted that the alliances formed between countries in the Middle East will play a crucial role in determining the course of World War III. Countries such as Russia, China, and the United States are seen as potential backers of different factions in the region, further complicating the already complex web of alliances and rivalries. The shifting sands of geopolitics in the Middle East make it a volatile and unpredictable region that could easily become the epicenter of a global conflict. In conclusion, the predictions of famous soothsayers about World War III paint a bleak picture for the Middle East. The region's long history of conflicts, rivalries, and geopolitical tensions make it a likely candidate for a major battleground in any future global conflict. The impact of such a conflict would be devastating for the region and the world as a whole, underscoring the urgent need for diplomatic efforts to prevent such a scenario from becoming a reality. Other countries on the front lines. In this subchapter, we will delve into the predictions of famous soothsayers regarding other countries that are on the front lines of World War III. These predictions shed light on the potential impact of the war on these nations and how they might play a significant role in the conflict. One of the soothsayers mentioned in this book foretells that China will be a key player in World War III, with its growing military power and territorial ambitions. The soothsayer predicts that China's aggressive stance towards its neighboring countries will ignite tensions and eventually lead to a full-scale war involving major world powers. Another prediction focuses on Russia, which is said to be at the forefront of the conflict due to its expansionist policies and antagonistic relations with the West. The soothsayer warns that Russia's involvement in World War III will have far-reaching consequences for the global balance of power and could potentially escalate into a nuclear confrontation. Furthermore, the predictions also highlight the role of Middle Eastern countries such as Iran and Saudi Arabia in the upcoming war. The soothsayers suggest that their long-standing regional rivalries and ideological differences will fuel conflicts that could draw in other major powers and destabilize the entire region. Additionally, the predictions touch upon the involvement of North Korea in World War III, with its unpredictable leader and nuclear capabilities posing a significant threat to global security. The soothsayers foresee that North Korea's aggressive actions could provoke a military response from other countries, leading to a dangerous escalation of hostilities. Overall, the insights provided by these soothsayers offer a glimpse into the complex web of alliances and conflicts that could shape the course of World War III. By examining the roles of different countries on the front lines of the war, readers can gain a deeper understanding of the potential causes and consequences of this global conflict. Chapter 5. Conclusion and Reflections on Soothsayers' Predictions. Analyzing the accuracy of soothsayers' predictions. In this subchapter, we will delve into the accuracy of soothsayers' predictions regarding World War III. Throughout history, soothsayers have been known to make bold claims about future events, often claiming to possess insights beyond the realm of ordinary knowledge. As we examine these predictions, it is important to consider the context in which they were made and the factors that may have influenced their accuracy. One of the most famous predictions regarding World War III comes from Nostradamus, a French astrologer and physician who lived in the 16th century. Nostradamus is said to have predicted a great war that would engulf the world in fire and destruction, with many nations falling into chaos. While some have claimed that his prophecies accurately foretold the rise of Hitler and the atrocities of World War II, others argue that his predictions are too vague to be truly accurate. In more recent times, soothsayers have made predictions about potential triggers for World War III, including conflicts in the Middle East, tensions between global superpowers, and the rise of authoritarian regimes. Some have even predicted the use of nuclear weapons and other forms of mass destruction in this hypothetical conflict. As we analyze these predictions, it is important to consider the geopolitical realities of the world today and the potential for these events to unfold in the future. While some may dismiss soothsayers' predictions as mere speculation or superstition, it is worth noting that many historical figures, including kings and emperors, have consulted with astrologers and soothsayers in times of crisis. Whether these predictions hold any weight or not, it is clear that they have captured the imagination of people throughout history and continue to do so today. As we navigate the uncertain waters of the future, it is important to consider all possibilities and sources of information. While soothsayers' predictions may not always come to pass, they offer a unique perspective on the potential outcomes of world events and the impact they may have on our lives. In the pages that follow, we will explore these predictions in more detail and consider their implications for the future of our world. Lessons learned from past wars. As we delve into the predictions of famous soothsayers regarding World War III, it becomes evident that there are valuable lessons to be learned from past wars. One of the most crucial lessons is the importance of diplomacy and communication in preventing conflicts from escalating into full-blown wars. History has shown us time and again that misunderstandings, lack of communication, and failure to negotiate can lead to devastating consequences for all parties involved. Furthermore, the soothsayers' predictions highlight the need for countries to learn from the mistakes of the past and strive for peaceful resolutions to conflicts. The devastating impact of past wars on the world serves as a stark reminder of the importance of seeking diplomatic solutions and avoiding the path of violence at all costs. By heeding the warnings of the soothsayers and learning from past mistakes, countries can work towards building a more peaceful and harmonious world. Another crucial lesson from past wars is the need for international cooperation and unity in addressing global conflicts. The predictions of World War III by soothsayers underscore the interconnected nature of our world and the fact that conflicts in one region can have far-reaching consequences for the entire world. By working together and fostering strong alliances, countries can better address conflicts and prevent them from escalating into catastrophic wars. Moreover, the predictions of famous soothsayers shed light on the importance of understanding the root causes of conflicts in order to prevent them from erupting into wars. By examining the underlying issues that lead to tensions between countries, policymakers can take proactive measures to address these issues and prevent conflicts from escalating. It is crucial for countries to engage in open dialogue, listen to each other's concerns, and work towards finding common ground in order to prevent future wars. In conclusion, the lessons learned from past wars are invaluable in guiding us towards a more peaceful and prosperous future. By heeding the warnings of the soothsayers and learning from the mistakes of the past, countries can work towards preventing conflicts and resolving disputes through diplomacy, communication, and international cooperation. By understanding the root causes of conflicts and working together towards peaceful resolutions, we can build a more harmonious world for future generations. Hope for a peaceful future. In the midst of dire predictions and grim prophecies about World War III, there is a glimmer of hope for a peaceful future. Soothsayers throughout history have foretold of a time of great conflict and turmoil, but they have also spoken of the potential for humanity to come together in unity and peace. Despite the chaos and destruction that may lie ahead, there is a belief among some that through understanding, cooperation, and empathy, a peaceful resolution to the impending war is possible. One common thread among the predictions of soothsayers is the idea that the causes of World War III are rooted in a lack of communication and understanding between nations. In order to prevent this catastrophic event from occurring, it is essential for countries to engage in open dialogue, diplomacy, and conflict resolution. By addressing the underlying issues that lead to war, such as political tensions, economic disparities, and ideological differences, there is a chance to avert the impending conflict and build a more peaceful world for future generations. The impact of World War III on the world would be devastating, with widespread destruction, loss of life, and displacement of populations. However, amidst the chaos and despair, there is a glimmer of hope for a brighter future. Soothsayers have predicted that in the aftermath of the war, there will be a renewed sense of unity and cooperation among nations as they come together to rebuild and heal the wounds of the past. The key to achieving a peaceful future lies in recognizing the interconnectedness of all nations and peoples and embracing a spirit of compassion and understanding. By working together to address the root causes of conflict and violence, there is a chance to create a more harmonious and peaceful world for future generations. The path to peace may be fraught with challenges and obstacles, but with determination, courage, and a shared vision for a better future, there is hope for a world free from the horrors of war. In conclusion, while the predictions of soothsayers may paint a bleak picture of the future, there is still hope for a peaceful resolution to the impending conflict of World War III. By coming together in unity, understanding, and cooperation, there is a chance to avert the war and build a more peaceful world for future generations. The road to peace may be long and arduous, but with determination and a commitment to dialogue and diplomacy, there is hope for a brighter future for all. Thank you for reading this book to the end.